We have new divas, new drama, so let the shade begin.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey!
Yes. Total Divas is back, and I am so excited once again to be part of it. This time, I am not alone, but we are definitely covering all 3 episodes because we have to catch up on a lot. I am here with the wonderful producer, but also host, J-Lo.
Hey guys, how are you?
Her
I'm so
actual
excited
name,
to be here.
I know. Her actual name is Jennifer Lopez, so that's why we call her J-Lo. Duh. And I am your host, Leslie Colon. I love to be back here. You know, this is the show that actually started everything for me, and I love wrestling. So
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
That's
I know
so
you're
much
a
fun.
big fan of Total Divas as well, and you're really into it right now. I love this applause. Thank you,
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you to everyone, and thank you to Jonathan who's producing right now for us.
Yes.
So again, you ready to get started? There's
Yeah,
a lot.
I'm so excited. So much to cover.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about.
much.
Overall, how are you feeling about the season?
I love it. It's
Really?
it's different from the past seasons.
Right.
It's very new. We are seeing 2 new fresh faces.
Yeah.
A lot of drama. A lot of drama
drama.
from the very beginning. So I'm so excited for it.
I know. I feel like, to be honest, I've done Total Divas for the last couple 2 seasons, and I wasn't really excited for this new cast. But after I saw the episodes and saw really how they were going about it, I really like it. You're right. There's a lot of drama, so I think let's just get into it.
Yeah.
For episode 1, we obviously have a new cast. Ronda Rousey is on Total Divas now, and also Sonya Deville. So how do you feel about them?
I'm very excited. I'm very excited for Ronda because, as we know, we've seen her in, she's a UCF fighter. UFC, sorry about that. And we've seen her outside. We've seen her fight and, seen her in other stuff. But we've never really seen her personality. She's always been played the villain. She's always been known as the villain or someone that's been very rude in the media industry and stuff like that. But seeing her here and seeing her, how she is with her family, her husband, and how she is at home and how... She is just like me and you, she is not any different, and just seeing her down to earth, I love seeing her. It's just a different side that I get to see of her being, just a fighter and just in the ring.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest surprises for me was that she actually is a very sensitive woman. We see her get very emotional really easily, and I think you're right in regards to she plays more of that bad, I'm a bad woman, which she is. She's amazing, so it's nice to see kind of that emotional side of her. And I think it's great to have her on board. Also, Sonya Deville, she's the first ever openly gay woman in WWE, so I think it's amazing to have someone like that representing a whole other community that I don't think WWE has really done it as much. I feel like she does come out in her gear and she does have the rainbow and everything, but I don't feel like they've really pushed that for her in actual writing for the wrestling part of it. So I think it's really cool that for the reality show that she's actually able to show that and be part of these great things that I'm sure she was never able to be part of before. And I feel like in this season we're seeing more of that of her. She's been a little bit more open, and I'm excited to see who she really is as a person and not just as a wrestler that me as a fan just watch on TV.
Right, and we can definitely see, and we are seeing that she's more confident and more out there, and more of an open book. And I'm very excited to see who she is, what's her story, and I'm excited to see how she's gonna get along with the other girls as well too.
For sure. So in this first episode, we already have a lot of drama. Nia Jax, she is definitely not just a villain on TV. She is a villain on this reality show and as a person. To be honest, I was really surprised in the way her attitude changed a lot, and she's going after poor Carmella. She states that Carmella is pretty much can't take the hits in wrestling, and she's fake and phony. What did you think about when you saw that?
I was really bummed out because of this, because I'm such a big fan of Nia's, and I'm hoping that they can hash this out and work it out. But I was really disappointed. I didn't know where this hostility came from. It was just out of nowhere. It was just she just told her straight out, you're fake. I don't want to hang out with you. I don't want to talk to you in front of other people. And I don't know. I don't think that in a workplace and you should, or ever, you should ever talk to someone like that. I feel like you should give them the benefit of the doubt and talk to them and see what they have to say, or try to hash whatever beef they have going on. But I just didn't like the attitude and how she was going, because for me, when Nia first came into Total Divas and came into this world, I really admire her because she was different. She was very relatable. But seeing this kind of attitude, I don't know if I can relate to someone like that. I grew up with mannerisms my whole life. My mom was very big on those. So seeing her talk to the way she did to Carmella it felt like she was just making her feel like such a small person, just bullying her.
Pretty much. That's really what it was. And I think the big part for me is we saw kind of transition her character in the ring when she went after Becky and like punched her in the face. So after that, she took it like it was big for her, and I think it kind of made her ego go up a little bit. I think the thing now is like she's really not trying to focus on that she was being different and she was representing other women like in the industry. So it's really upsetting. I understand where you're coming from, because it's like she's not representing that anymore. I feel like in this season, I really don't know what she's representing. It's funny because she used to have a feud and like a storyline saying like, oh, anti-bullying, and that's exactly what she's doing right now.
Right. I don't know where this is coming from. Like I said, I'm hoping they're able to hash it out, because I'm a big fan of hers. I know that right now maybe Gabby said right now, she says, is it me or is Nia coming across not likable? It's true, Gabby. She's not likable. At least for me, she's not. And I'm a big fan of her. So I'm hoping, like I said, hash it out. We can move on from it, and that, or she just has to go. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much. She's not wrestling right now. She's injured, but I definitely did not like that. Also, speaking of Nia, and in episode 1, it was kind of mostly about that feud. The episode ends with her telling Nikki Bella that Carmella was talking crap about her and pretty much saying that she sucked like in that feud, and that she hated when they were wrestling and going with that storyline, when she didn't even say that. She just said like, I can take hits. Didn't you see when Nikki Bella punched me in the face and left her a black eye? It was like, seriously, Nia, you're really gonna go with the Bellas and then bring them into this? I thought it was really irrelevant. She didn't have to do that. You could easily vent and be like, hey, I don't like Carmella, but you don't have to bring this up. Like, this is how rumors get started.
Right. And I think we talked about it earlier after the show when we said that Nia's actually like alone in the locker rooms. If you think about it, she didn't really seem to have anybody in there, not even Nattie. And usually Nattie and her are really close, but she didn't have any of the girls. We don't even see her in a lot of the trips or any gatherings, just like maybe Nattie's party and stuff like that, because she got invited, but she goes there already with like such an attitude, and I don't want to say nothing bad. It's just, I really like her.
No, but I think a lot of people can relate to what you're saying. I can see it. Gabby, obviously, in the chat, she definitely saw the fact that Nia's attitude changed, her character changed. It's really, we can't like something like that, especially when you're coming after a person. Yeah, it's cool if you don't like Carmella. Leave it at the door. Be cordial, at least. You're all adults. You all share a locker room at the end of the day. You have to work with each other. We saw they had to work an event. So I think it's just really sad to see the fact that she keeps talking about women empowerment and changing the women's division. So how are you going to do that when you're putting down someone else?
Yes, they're supposed to be together. You know, they're supposed to empower each other. Like, I know they have storylines of them not liking each other, having to fight, but for them to take that storylines and make it real outside of the ring, I don't think that that should be happening. But
I don't know, maybe she just wants to stand out this season, but we'll see. Hopefully she changes, hopefully not. I know she's injured right now, so maybe after that injury her heart soften up a little bit more, but we'll see. That was pretty much episode 1. It was just pretty much an introduction of the new cast, this big feud, and then Nia just going along with it. Moving on to episode 2, we see a little bit more fun. Not so much, obviously, in regards to Nattie. We see her throwing a birthday party for her mom, and she mentions that it was 40 years. It's been 40 years since her parents, celebrated their birthday separately. And, for those who don't know, or I'm sure you guys have seen, Nattie's dad did pass away. So, rest in peace for him. And he was one of the biggest in WWE and big in tag team as well. So it's just really sad to see the fact that obviously Nattie confesses she hasn't really dealt with the emotions. She's just working and working and working. So, like, do you understand Nattie in that sense where she's like, she kind of just, I feel like she's distracting herself instead of actually like dealing with it.
Yeah, I'm like that. I can relate to her. It's one of those things that when someone you love or someone you're so close with, how Nattie was with her dad, is gone, it's hard to accept it. It's hard. And I get it when people tell you like, oh, well, they're here in spirit, they would be so proud. It's not the same. It's not because you're being selfish and you want this person to physically be there, even though maybe this person, just we're sick or, it's unexpected and stuff. You want this person to be there right next to you.
Right.
And it's hard to get through it. So the only way that a person can get through it is either by working or doing all these stuff or taking care of everybody else so you can get your mind off it. Yeah. But then you get tired because there's those points that you're like, you don't have anything to do. And that's when everything sinks in. And it sucks because you're just thinking about all these memories. And I think it kills you even more instead of just trying to live day by day and thinking about them day by day and like hour by hour and be like just a little bit versus just like in a whole chunk at night and you're just like, oh my god,
it's too much.
It's too much.
Yeah, and I think we've seen it a lot in this whole like since Total Divas began, that all of the time Nattie was definitely spending a lot of time with her parents and her dad a lot. They would always do a lot of activities together. So I think it's really sad to still see the fact that this is really affecting her. She doesn't know how to process it. I think everyone now around is starting to notice how bad it is for her. So I'm glad that, slowly but surely people were one of the persons that we see who realizes that the most is Ronda. So she's kind of slowly, working herself in to help Nattie. So we're going to see a little bit more of that in episode 3 and we'll talk about it a little bit later. But also another thing that happened, which is really big for women and women's wrestling, is the fact that these new tag team titles were announced. So everyone's getting really excited and it's a first. We've seen a lot of changes in women's wrestling, especially in WWE. So I was really excited to see that. Were you?
Oh yeah, definitely, because there's a lot of first woman stuff going on in the WWE and it's so exciting to see it. And so exciting to see them get training and working so hard to get what they want to get. And the last couple of years has been an exciting time for them, and just seeing them going in there and being so happy and so confident and wanting to be a part of this and making sure that women get the same championships and titles just as men are. It's just crazy. And the fact that we have a show that we can see and we can kind of relate to and be like, oh my god, I could be that person, or a little girl could be that person, that girl, someday. So it's very exciting.
I know. And also one of the cast members who really wanted to be a part of this was Nattie. We see her approaching Ronda and say like, I really miss you, because they did start out, Ronda's storyline when she began was with Nattie, and Nattie was always kind of like, oh, I'm going to take you under my wing and I'm going to help you out. So she was really missing the fact that she can't do that anymore because Ronda Rousey is now, going for that women's title. So Nattie was kind of lost, and I felt for Nattie, but I think when Nia came in and told her that comment, it was rude. She's like, you don't have to be the first of everything. Like, okay, if that's how you feel and if that's how some people felt when watching this, it makes sense, but you don't have to say it like that. Nattie has been one of the biggest like women's wrestler since she came into WWE. She's comes from a family that's really big in wrestling. She's done so much for these women, and you don't have to disrespect someone like that and that way,
And not only that, but she's probably the biggest supporter of each and every one of them. Anything anybody needs, she's there. Whatever she can do, she's there. Nattie's always there. So of course, like Nia again came in and told her that it sucked, because that's exactly, maybe Nia is right. Maybe she doesn't have to be a part of everything all the time. Maybe she needs this time to kind of grieve and just kind of take care of herself, but the way she just said it, it was just like, you don't have to be a part of anything. Like, and then at the end, she was like, "Oop, awkward." Like,
yeah. And not just that, like, Nattie was like, okay, you don't have to be that rude. Like, I'm leaving now. She removed herself from the situation. So, those of you in the chat, let us know what you think. Are you Team Nia or Team Nattie here? Or Team Nia, like, as a whole? Because Nia's coming out at everyone this season. So, I don't know. Let us know what you think. But that was one of the things. The tag team titles were obviously fought for and everything. For those of you who don't watch wrestling, the tag team titles were won by Bayley and Sasha Banks. So that was really exciting to see. And I was really excited to see, that Elimination Chamber as well. But also, another thing that happened during that Elimination Chamber was that Sonya got injured. And she had to go into the locker room. And I believe it was her shoulder.
Yes, that was her shoulder. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that, it got hurt and everything. And Sonya is getting ready to do Pride, and she got her own float, and that was really exciting for her, but she wasn't really able to enjoy it because she got injured and was kind of focused on that,
and she wasn't cleared yet.
Yeah, exactly.
She got an email and she was like, "You're not cleared yet." Right. So that really kind of put a cloud over her head and was like, damn, because as we know, WWE wrestlers, when they get injured, they have to go through a process, this long process. So they miss a lot of fights or matches and stuff like that, and potentially could ruin their career too. So she was really scared. It's a nightmare for any wrestler.
Well, not just that, especially with the way her and Mandy Rose were wrestling, they were kind of starting their momentum, and it really sucks when you're wrestling and you're kind of getting to that point and then you get injured and it's like, oh, is everyone gonna forget about me? And a lot of the time that happens if you haven't really established yourself in WWE, because people, another storyline happens and then everyone is so invested in that that it's so hard to come back, and like you have to gain your audience again. It's like a reset button for like everything. So it makes sense why it kind of got to her. She wasn't really able to enjoy that whole process of like going to see her float. Well, she was a little bit excited when she got to see the float and she got to choose all that. And I think overall in this episode, it was nice to see the fact that all the girls were there to support her and go with her to do all this. I feel like it made it more meaningful, the fact that all of the women are there supporting her in this cause, and it's not just her by herself.
Exactly. And they're not asking her questions. They're not as to why or how or, no, they're there to support because they love her, and, they work together and they're together 24/7, So of course it was nice seeing her friends and her family, her mom, her sister, seeing there and just being happy and just enjoying this, and seeing her happy with her girlfriend was just so, like, it was so cool, because not everybody gets to do that, so many people go through it, so many families don't accept it, so many friends don't accept stuff like this, and the fact that she was up there and just enjoying her time with her family and friends was just nice to see.
I think it was, in this episode she kind of focused, in episode 1 she had mentioned that she had gone through a breakup with her girlfriend because they weren't really on the same page and due to her lifestyle as a wrestler. Episode 2, we saw them come back together. It was Valentine's Day and everything. So I think it's really nice, like you said, the fact that we get to see that relationship grow. Maybe, we'll see a little bit more of them as the season goes on, not just specifically for Pride. And I hope that they still keep showing this, because again, like she had mentioned as well, this is a platform for her to represent people that sometimes feel like they're not being represented. So it's really cool to see, her taking pride in this. I feel like she's really not hiding herself anymore, and it's great to see that evolution of her. Definitely. But also another thing that happened in this season, or in this episode 2, was really big when Carmella is being accused of being a homewrecker. Well, first she confesses, that she is in love with Corey Graves and she's seeing Corey Graves. She confesses this at the party. So then the news breaks out that, Corey Graves' wife pretty much goes on social media and says that Carmella is the reason for their divorce and she broke up a family. They have 2 kids. So what did you think about when this happened?
That was insane, for someone to call you a homewrecker and have put all your business out there in social media, in news. It's insane. I felt for her. Like, you know, it's an embarrassment because you're like, you know, millions of people are reading this. You know, it was like the number one trending.
Yeah, she was trending over the NBA finals, which is really crazy. The NBA finals is huge.
And she was trending. That's insane. So to see this, I felt for her, you know, because it's not only as a woman, but like it's an embarrassment in her workplace. You know, people are looking at her. People are like talking and, you know, whispering. And, you know, and like she said, she couldn't go out there and be like, make an announcement or, you know, make a statement or anything like that. So I did feel bad for her. I felt so bad, you know, because, you know, she really is in love with Corey and she really wants to be with this person, you know, and just seeing this and having someone blasting your business out there and calling you all these names. And she was getting death threats too, over the phone and getting calls and messages and all that stuff. It was scary. I did not think people were that.
Well, not just that. I don't think you really realize, like, wrestling fans like us were very invested in this. You know, some people are very emotionally attached to these wrestlers and people and lives. I think it was crazy the fact that they really went. I think the hate came from a lot of people not liking Carmella and not really taking Corey Graves' wife's side. It was mostly like, oh, I already don't like Carmella, like this is another reason for me not to like her and go at her. So I think that's where the hate came from. And a lot of people personally don't like Carmella when they watch her wrestle because, you know, lately we haven't seen much of her. She's just been kind of doing a little bit of stuff here and there in WWE. So I understand why that viewpoint, why people don't like her, and it was just easy for them to go after her. But I don't think, like, it's fair for one person to deal with all that, especially when she told Corey Graves and he was kind of like, sorry, like, I can't do anything about it. Deal with it on your own. I don't think that was the right way to do it.
Yeah, like I said, I was really upset with his response. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to, you know, make it go away or anything. But just his response was like, well, what do you want me to do? You know, and like, I get it. You're in a difficult situation. You know, it's your ex-wife. And then your kids are in the middle now, too.
Of course.
And I get that. But you also needed to give her place. You know, Carmella needed her place as well too. If you say that you guys are dating and stuff like that, why not give her that, you know, that respect and that, you know, talk to your ex-wife or try to figure something out. But just his response was just very like, okay.
I know,
like,
I feel
sorry,
like,
you know, I'm sorry.
Well, and she even said it's like, for him, it's like, oh, cool. Like, yeah, I got her.
I got her, and then for her, it's like, oh, I'm a homewrecker, a whore, or whatever, you know?
And the thing with WWE, everything goes around in the locker room, so I understand why it was really affecting her, because everyone looks at you back there.
Right.
All the fans are going to come out you. I'm surprised they didn't even say that when she would come out after that scandal happened, but people don't forget. So I think that's why she was really affected by it. And it sucks because she really doesn't have the support of him. I feel like throughout this season and what we're seeing so far, she's kind of been very attached and very emotional, like, towards him, and he's kind of cold.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. I feel like she gives him a little bit more love, and he's just very like, So I don't know if it's because they're barely starting. He's trying to get used to, you know, the new relationship, but also the cameras around too. You know, it's probably, I mean, it shouldn't be new to him, you know, because he has cameras with him all the time.
Right.
But this is a different kind of side of the cameras. He's not playing a role. It's kind of like, okay, you're showing me and our relationship, real life, reality, people to see. So I don't know.
Well, I'm sure, like, everyone, they all know that this is happening. I'm sure they were told, like, or he was told at least, hey, I'm gonna be part of Told Divas, are you okay with this? I mean, I think at the beginning,
I think at the beginning it sounds like, okay, great, perfect, like, that's fine, you know, I like you, I love you, whatever, let's do it. But then when it comes to it, he was probably like, oh crap, this is really happening, you know? So
I think specifically with that, with those news and when all that happened, it's probably why he was probably, like, taken back and like, oh, camera's on me, how am I supposed to react? So again, everyone, let us know what you think about this whole homewrecker situation, because there's a lot of drama happening. But before we move on to the third episode, we want to thank you here for joining us. There's a lot of people already in the chat, and we really appreciate that. So don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel, like this video, share it with your friends, give us 5 stars on iTunes, and keep keep making us the ESPN of TV talk. We really appreciate you guys, and keep bringing in those comments, and we'll shout you out. And every, Tuesday? We'll be here every Tuesday at 9 p.m. So thank you again, and let's keep talking about all this drama that keeps going. But for episode 3, it was a little bit more fun. It wasn't, and a lot of funny moments. It wasn't too dramatic in the sense that it's like, oh, Nia versus this person, Nia versus that person, or just feud overall. We saw it begin with Sonya and her Pride Parade. We finally got to see that come together, and I think it was really cool to see, again, like you had said earlier, her family, her friends, and everyone being there, and her just being able to express herself, and everyone being so supportive. So I think it was a really cool moment, the fact that, you know, we just saw that come to life, and we're a part of that.
Yeah, it was really cool. Like I said before, you know, seeing her being able to just run around and just be so free and happy was definitely a cool moment for her. So I'm excited to see more of that, and more of her personality, and more of where she comes from. You know, like what is, you know, who is she? You know.
Well, we do know that she did come from AfterBuzz TV.
She did
used to host here. So shout out to her, and we hope to have her back in studio maybe in the future, so she can give us exclusives on what goes on behind the scenes at Total Divas. But also, I think one of the funniest moments, and my favorite moment, or like everything that happened in this episode, was the fact when Nattie went to Ronda's farm because she invited her to kind of decompress a little bit and be with the animals and feel a little bit free. But that's not Nattie's lifestyle. She was falling and everything. It was so hilarious. I love this overall. Nattie is very, like, I never expected Nattie to be this bougie. We know she likes her Louis Vuittons and everything, but for her to not like this farm lifestyle.
See, I didn't think she was that bougie. You know, because she does a lot in her house, her own home too. We see her, you know, with her pets and stuff, and
she
doing
has, like,
other stuff.
7 cats.
Exactly, but I don't know. I mean, obviously it's a way different lifestyle than the farm, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like I've seen her do more work around the house and stuff. So to me, it was actually very surprising to be like, you know, seeing her kind of be like, what is this? I want to go home. What did I get myself into? Why did I come? You know, but it was all fun.
It was hilarious. And I think the whole purpose of it, obviously, we saw that Ronda was trying to get Nattie to kind of vent a little bit and really mourn her father's death. So I think there was a lot of touching moments in the fact when she was able to talk about it. And I feel like when you go through something like that, you kind of shut down or don't want to show too much emotion, because like she said, people are going to be like, okay, get over it. It's been a couple months. But unless you're in that situation, I feel like then you really know how bad it feels. So I was really glad that we saw, you know, Ronda being there for her, and then Ronda's really good friends with her NXT, you know, superstars, which were there as well, and they were talking to her. So it was really nice to see the fact that you can really count on Ronda as being your friend, and she was really there for her. So
yeah, she really just kind of wanted to give her this weekend to kind of relax and don't think about work or anything else, or think about being the first this and that, and just think about you and your dad. Like, just come and let it out here in the farm, you know, with the animals and stuff. And of course, you know, she needed a little bit of help, so she's like, come on and help me out.
I think it was just hilarious when she was walking through like that wood little tablet, or I don't know, that piece of wood,
pond or whatever.
And she was trying to walk over the pond, and she definitely went in the pond. So I think that was like one of my favorite moments from her being at the farm. But also we continue with Carmella's drama, and her going to Corey's hotel room to try to fix everything. I felt like his apology was not sincere, and he was kind of like, well, you kind of pushed me away. No, she was just venting to you about everything. You were like, how do I deal with this? So did you like that conversation, or what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that, like I said, you know, his reactions so far, for me at least, they're not good, you know, because he was just kind of like, wait, well, you're the one. He kind of put it on her. And it's like, I think anybody would react like that. I think if somebody called me a homewrecker and I'm talking to you, I'm like, F, you know, like, what is gonna happen, you know, like, why aren't you responding, you know, like I said, you know, I get it, you can't do as much, but try to talk to someone, try to talk to your ex-wife, and you know, if she's okay with it, then why is she saying all this stuff? So yeah, like I said, you know, he just kept putting it on her, and you know, she just kept apologizing, and you know, I don't know, I mean, I really like them together. I don't know. Really? But I really like them together. And I really like that she's very, you know, so into him.
I don't. See, I can't. Like, I don't have nothing against them, but it's, like, too much. Like, it's kind of like, really? Like, the way she's being. I think because, like, in her previous relationship, and we saw that on Total Divas, she was with another wrestler, Big Cass. And she wasn't like that. So to see, and now she says that, obviously, it was not a healthy relationship. Right. But to see her the way she's being, I feel like Corey Graves is, like, okay, kind of awkward.
That's true. We're seeing him very cold, but we don't know how it is off. Yeah. You know, like when no cameras around or anything. So we don't know what he's really telling her, you know, because I feel like he could sweep me off my feet, and he's probably telling her, like, I'm going to give you the world, the rainbow, the moon. So you don't know. So that's why she's probably like, oh my God, you know, so in love.
I'm still not. I don't know. I feel weird about this.
To see, but I mean, I do like the relationship. I love it. I just didn't like his attitude, and I don't like it. But I'm thinking it's gonna change throughout the season. Let's hope.
I think it's just the cameras, but we'll see. There was another feud that happened in which when it started, I thought it was like, okay, just gonna be a storyline because that was the intention, but Sonya pretty much went after Ronda Rousey and was calling her out, saying like, no, I'm the first MMA fighter to be signed by WWE, and she kind of wanted to start this after being cleared, that she wanted to kind of start a storyline, in which I thought that's where it was gonna go, but
it did not really go that way. I think.
So when we kind of saw the fact that after Ronda responded, and again, you don't mess with Ronda Rousey. She is gonna, if you want a storyline, and she even said it, like, I was in character. You want to, you know, talk and go after me, I'm gonna go after you too. So I think it was really, I don't know, I was in the middle in this whole situation, because we then see her break down and feel like she was being attacked by her. But personally, I was like, okay, if you want to start this, you know, she's gonna come after you hard, handle it. Like, that's kind of how it is gonna be with Ronda Rousey. She's not gonna soften anything. Like, she's a bad beat.
It's so hard, you know, because I love them both. You know, they're probably like my two favorite people right now. So, you know, seeing this, I was like, no, I don't want this, because, you know, you don't want to choose between them. But yeah, you know, it's just kind of hard to say what's going to happen. I mean, I'm hoping that maybe they can just hash it out, and just maybe there's going to be that storyline that they're looking for, or they want to start. I'm hoping it just doesn't I hope it just doesn't become like a real, you know, feud.
I don't think so. I think, to be honest, again, her intention was for this to become a storyline. Obviously, it didn't go forward because this was, you know, filmed months before, and I watch WWE every week, and it never happened. So to see her kind of take it personal and be like, oh, she doesn't know where I come from, she doesn't know, like, okay, you know, I understand that it hit you emotionally, but I feel like it was a combination of everything that she was going through in her personal life. Not liking her gear, not really liking, you know, we'd see her at Carmella's party, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and kind of having that breakdown in where she doesn't really like a lot of things that's going on in her personal life. So I feel like that attack,
it was just kind of like a hit home. It was kind of like the, you know, it just broke everything off, and she was just like, okay, I'm not having it at the moment. But
again, it's like, don't start something if you're not going to be able to handle it, especially with a person who is Ronda Rousey, and she's not going to take anything lightly. So, I don't know. Let us know again what you guys feel about this feud. Are you team Sonya? Are you team Ronda? And yeah, that's just my opinion. We'll see what people think. But we also see a little bit of fun. We see Carmella's party, which was supposed to be a surprise party for Corey Graves, which again, I was like, seriously, she tries to do something nice and then it doesn't work for her. So I think my favorite part about all of this was that everyone dressed up and everything. But overall, my favorite part of this whole party was the mermaid, restaurant where they got to go and see mermaids and do a show and everything. And then Liv Morgan signs up Trinity and her to do this. And Trin the Fin begins.
Yes, I love Trin the Fin.
I know.
I love it.
I think this whole thing was really funny. And I don't feel like Trin needs to worry about her body.
No, she has a sick body.
I
like,
know.
oh my God. You know, but I mean, I get it. As a woman, there's always something you don't like about yourself. Right. That's just a natural thing. You know, you're always going to be happy. You're going to be like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like that. So it's normal, you know, and, you know, she just didn't feel comfortable. And I get it, you know, especially with 2 pieces. And, you know, she was just like, all these people. But I get it, though. You know, she shouldn't be worried about that because she's beautiful anyway. You know, it doesn't matter. But, you know,
I think it was the fact that WWE and everyone, whenever they talk about Trinity, is like, she's so athletic and she is. Everything that happened. But to be honest, she said she did gain 10 pounds.
She did say that.
But I don't see it. She still looks good. Either. She's still great in the ring. We haven't seen her recently, but whenever she's on TV, everything looks good, and she shouldn't have worried about it. And I'm glad she took that leap of faith and, you know, did the show with Liv Morgan. Right. I thought it was so cool. I really like Liv Morgan as well. I like to see that little personality of her. She's very fun. She's out there.
She's so out there. Yeah. I wish it was, I'm hoping maybe next season, if we get another season, she'll come on the show. She was so much fun. Like, I felt like she really pushed Trinity to really do this and be like, come on, let's do it. Who cares? Like, let's just do it. What are you talking about? And she just kept gassing her up and being like, Trin the Fin.
You know, Trin the Fin. Trin the Fin.
So much fun. So much fun.
But that's where this episode 3 ended. We saw Trin the Fin, and everything was kind of really, I would say, in a good vibes, good mood. So we'll see what happens in episode 4. We're going to see a little bit more drama, or maybe a whole bunch of drama this whole season. So overall, those 3 episodes, I think it was a great start to begin the season.
It was definitely a great start. I think every episode gave us everything we wanted and we needed and more. Right. So I'm definitely excited for this season. I'm definitely excited to be hosting it with you.
Me too.
Hoping we get guests. It's just so much fun. I can't wait. I really cannot wait to see everybody and what they have going on and what they're going to show us.
Right. Yeah. All right. So now let's move on to our special segment. If you guys have been following us for a while, we always do this. It's called the Shadiest Moment. So let's begin with our Shadiest Moment. Damn! Because there was a lot of damn moments in this.
Definitely. Okay. So
what's yours?
I have to give it to Nia. In the first episode, you know, Carmella went up to her and was like, hey, you know, let's talk. She literally didn't even say anything when Nia was already being like, why? I don't want to talk. I need to start getting ready. And I don't want to talk to you because you're fake and you're not real and you're not a good wrestler. Like, wait, what? That just came out of nowhere. And you know, and Carmella, she's so sensitive. She just she literally broke down. So I was like, Nia, what are you doing? You know, it's like just in front of everybody, and she didn't care. She got her bag and she walked away, and she was like, okay.
That was definitely a good one.
That was definitely probably my like, damn, those episode it was like 10 minutes in the episode.
I know.
So quick.
But for me, it was definitely when Ronda Rousey came at Sonya and was like, you only had 2 amateur fights in MMA. I don't even consider you an MMA fighter, and you're just a hobbyist. Oh my God. So Sonya. That was definitely a damn moment. Yes. She went after her. Ronda Rousey's like, you don't play with me. You want to come at me? I'm going to come at you. So,
Sonya, I can't.
For her, she then took it to heart, but it was definitely a damn moment.
She did.
Well, that's that for our special segment. Again, you guys let us know what was your shady moment for this season, and we're going to keep doing it every week.
Let us know.
All right. So now, Jen, are you ready for our news?
Yes, so excited. All right, guys, so we have an article on HollywoodLive.com in where Sonya, Carmella, and Nattie did a exclusive photo shoot.
Oh, really?
And they basically were talking about the upcoming season and what they're going to be bringing us and stuff. Nattie went on to say, I think one thing that keeps people coming back is the fact that we're very relatable, which is so true. You know, every season we find someone that we can relate to throughout the whole season or the episodes. And I'm very excited to see Sonya, to see Carmella, and to know a little bit more about Carmella, because we've seen her in and out of Total Divas.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if we're gonna, I'm hoping we're gonna see more of her relationship with Corey, which I'm sure we are.
Big time.
But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see all of them and what they're gonna have going on. And basically they just talked about saying that they're gonna give us more an intimate live kind of into their lives, because we're so used to seeing them in the ring and stuff like that. But they're going to be talking more about their lives, letting us see inside their lives. And they also talk about Ronda and how we're going to be able to see more of her home life, which we're starting to see a lot of it. We see that she's a stepmom and everything. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what's
and I really like the fact that we're seeing a little bit more of Ronda. To be honest, I didn't think that she would do a reality show like this, because she was very private about her life. But I think now with WWE, she's kind of like, all right, let me let people know really who I am. And I really like her lifestyle. It's very, I don't know, it's very calm and chill and relatable. That's the thing, we can relate to her.
And I think for them as wrestlers, they see thousands and thousands of people every night in these big stadiums, and I love that Ronda kind of really balances that out completely. It's like her home life is so different from her professional work life. So you see this like calm farm life, and then you see all this big crowd and people cheering on for her. So I'm really excited to see that. And like you said, I wasn't expecting, I knew she was going to be in the show, but I did not know how much of an open book she was going to be for us. So yeah, very excited for that.
All right, was that all your news?
Yes, that is all for me.
Now let's move forward with our predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Well, it's definitely some good predictions for next week. What are your predictions?
I want to know if Nia's gonna feel bad for Carmella with the whole Corey thing going on. I wonder if that will be like a little icebreaker between them and kind of get to start squashing this beef they have going on. I'm hoping.
For me, I think I
don't know.
Nia's still gonna be on her bad side. I'm the opposite, and we see a little bit in the next preview that she's gonna go after Naomi now, and you don't mess with Trin. So we'll see what that feud is about, because we saw a lot of like dish breaking, and I don't know if maybe that was to vent and release all the anger that she has, but we'll see. But I think she's definitely gonna go after another one of the divas, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't say divas anymore, even though that's the title of the show, but they are women wrestlers now. So we'll see what happens next week. I know the drama's definitely gonna continue, but what are our people's predictions?
They don't have any predictions, but I just wanted to give a shout out to Joseph Bosa, Gabby McCoy, Haywood Wong. Let's see who else. Demo, hopefully I'm saying it correctly.
Yeah,
Demo
always comes back.
Katape. And who else is in here? Yeah, and that's pretty much it for being in the chat and letting us know what you guys think. Please continue commenting, letting us know what you guys think of the episode and what are your predictions for next week. Even if we are done for today, I definitely will check them and definitely give you a shout out next week.
All right, and thank you to Joseph Bosa, as always supporting our wrestling shows everywhere. He literally watches everything for us. And then Gabby, she's always with us on Total Divas, so thank you, Gabby, for coming back. And Demo as well. She came back. She did Total Bellas and Total Divas. So,
perfect.
So that was pretty much
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be in this, freaking season with you. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
All right. Well, where can they find you on social media?
All right. You guys can find me in all social media at Jen_Lopez_89.
All right. And you can find me at _Leslie, LESLIEE, Colon, COLON. And that is it. Oh, and also I'm doing, for all you Spanish speaking people, I do WWE en Español. So if you guys want to go ahead and support us on there, we will see you next week.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.